So hi, I just want to do a quick video about World Mental Health Day. And it's really, I think, what I would like to offer is a perspective on mental health, because I think it's something that's incredibly misunderstood. You know, a lot of people think you have mental health problems when you suffer from severe depression, severe anxiety, that you're fretting all the time, you're stressed all the time, and you can't function properly. Well, that is an extreme version of it, yes. But if you have really any worries in your life whatsoever, whether that's worrying about being successful at your business, worrying whether your partner is cheating on you, or worrying whether you're going to pay the bills at the end of the month, or worrying whether you can afford food and all this kind of stuff. These are actually, in reality, mental health problems. You have thoughts and feelings which are causing stress and anxiety. And it doesn't have to be severe, as in debilitating, to be a mental health issue. It could be, you're functioning predominantly okay most of the time, you're going to work, you're running your business, you're going through all the activity, and you might feel relatively good a lot of the time. But when you realize what some of these stresses and pressures are doing to you physically, one thing that I've noticed massively is, with all the emotional subconscious belief systems that I've been deleting out of my system for some time with subconscious surgery, and getting rid of the stress responses to certain types of language, it really made me become aware of how much tension I had previously been carrying. I was just driving back from Manchester today from, my visa application when I went to the Chinese consulate. And I was just realizing how relaxed my hips were and how relaxed my legs were and my torso compared to how I used to drive. It was like I held myself. And when you realize that different emotions relate to different parts of your body, so your shoulders are about carrying responsibilities, your hips are about feeling supported, your knees are about being flexible in life. So when you become inflexible, that can, translate to knee problems. And I've had people with knee problems, and I've uncovered the root of the emotional, the psychosomatic element of it, and kind of processed it out, and their knees have got better. I did it with my own frozen sacroiliac. I had a frozen sacroiliac for years. I went to chiropractors, I actually went to the doctors, I got painkillers, I went to the physiotherapist, I had massage. All of these things helped it, but only temporarily. Then when I learned, how to do the technique, which I call obviously, the subconscious surgery, and I removed the psychosomatic element of it, and in essence, the mental health issue, which had been programmed into my subconscious, the freeze went, literally overnight. And if you read my blog and, my video about the psychosomatic response, I had a hemorrhoid. I know it's not the most pleasant of subjects, and you wouldn't think hemorrhoids are a mental health issue. And neither did I, until I had one which wouldn't go through topical kind of treatments. And then what I did is I looked at the psychosomatic part. At the time, it was actually a stress that I had with a girlfriend. Yes, people can really be a pain in the backside. Literally, because when I removed the emotional tension that was being caused by that situation, in 24 hours, literally overnight, the hemorrhoid disappeared and went. So physical ailments in your body, disease, injury, all of these actually, believe it or not, can be mental health issues. Now, how mind-blowing is that? When you realize that your body is actually talking to you, your body's attempting to tell you what the problem is, but most people don't listen. They treat it as a physical ailment and not a psychological ailment. And it's our brain, in reality, which creates our health because it tells and gives our body instructions. So you need to look beyond what the conventional description of mental health is to really understand it and realize that, about 80 to 90% of illness and disease has a psychosomatic element. Psycho, the mind, soma, the body. So the mind is affecting the body. This is what we call in the industry the nocebo effect. The nocebo effect is the opposite to the placebo effect. A lot of people have heard of the placebo effect because it is the miraculous healing by being given a sugar pill. But what that sugar pill does is convince the mind that there is something in it that is going to heal it. So what it does is it just goes through the process of healing itself because our bodies have that capability. So when the mind is fooled, the body follows suit. So anybody who knows me, they'll know that I am passionate about helping people heal. And the way I do it is by healing the mind. Because when you heal the mind, the body follows. So just spread the word. Help people to understand what mental health issues really are. They are day-to-day stresses and challenges that over a period of time cause damage. And this is what we call epigenetics, above the gene. In other words, this is Bruce Lipton's work, which I was, incredibly grateful to have an interview with him earlier on today. And that project will be revealed. We're looking at putting a documentary together and things like that. And when we're looking at the mind and the body and the connection, this is the most significant change I believe is coming to the health industry, because it's at this moment in time the psychosomatic part, the emotional part, the stress part is what's causing the problem. And because continued stress basically creates a neurochemical soup of stress hormones and stress neuropeptides, which are designed to put your body into a kind of a hyper mode so you can fight and run instantaneously with a lot more power, but your body can't sustain that mode for any period of time. And that's why modern day pressures, the pace of life, earning money and jobs and the disparity between how much we're paid and how much we need to live and earn and, buy food and rent and all this kind of stuff is getting more and more challenging. And that stress and that challenge causes more and more illness. And, I feel so blessed. I was talking to Bruce about, the state of healthcare, and I don't believe healthcare should be a profit industry. I feel it should be completely non-profit. I don't believe that people should be denied good healthcare because of their social status, because of whether they were born into a family or born with, certain privileges that help them get the education and, the support to get to a position where they can afford healthcare. In the UK at this moment in time, we have free healthcare at the point of delivery. We don't have to worry whether, if we are ill and we go into a hospital, whether our insurance is enough and whether we can cover it. I've got a friend who had a car accident and, suffered a massive injury, which was no fault of her own, and they're struggling to get cover for the medical bills and things like that. It's just abhorrent in this day and age that our social status should dictate whether we can have access to healthcare. It should be for everybody. And this includes mental health. And unfortunately, that again is something that is not readily available to a lot of the people that need it. One of my biggest frustrations is, having someone come to me because they've got some issues and, they want them resolving, and they just can't afford my services. And I, on a very regular basis, give free sessions away to people that just plainly can't afford it, and I feel incredibly compassionate about. But my challenge is that if I did that for everybody in this current paradigm, then I wouldn't be able to eat and pay rent and do all that kind of stuff myself. So it's a frustrating place to be at this moment in time, but I believe everything's going to be changing for the better. And if I've got anything to do with it, then that is what I'm going to do. So this is my video for Mental Health Week. I want people to realise what mental health really is, and that actually more people suffer from it than they actually realise. But there are more remedies out there nowadays which can help. There's more modalities, there's more techniques, and there's a lot more healers. So if you're going through any challenges, whether you have social anxiety, whether you have any kind of stress, whether you're worrying about family, friends, jobs, money, all that kind of stuff, seek some help. It's okay to admit that you've got a challenge. Especially the men. Ego and all that kind of stuff. Men don't want to admit that we need some help sometimes. And learning to drop that and learning to ask for it, you never know what magic might happen.